Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Just doing a little test while we wait for everybody to join us. So let me know if you can hear everything okay. This is my first time doing this, and I'm a little bit nervous about the technology end. Awesome. Thank you. So, hi, I'm Kat. It's great to be here. I'm really excited about getting going on this series and getting to participate in this way. This is something that a group of us have been trying to get rolling for quite some time. The pandemic kind of put a little damper on our plans to get everything rolling. I'm going to try and keep up with the YouTube chat as best I can, but it's actually kind of far away from where I am standing. So it's I'll pop over and take a look whenever I finally have an opportunity because it's a little bit too far for me to see. But welcome. Today we're going to work on some basic warm-ups and cool-downs. We're going to be using the warm-up series that Peter has been using for his classes, and I'm going to be showing you a few of the cool-down exercises and stretches that we've done before, but I figured it's good to have a bit of a refresher on these things. And the thing that I want to focus on the most today is mindfulness. So mindfully warming up and mindfully cooling down, because a lot of these things, they're not a dance routine. They are a series of movements and stretches that are used to help to warm up the body in the case of the warm-up exercise sequence, and to cool the body down and stretch to prevent injury at the end of the workout. So without I think we have everybody that we're going to get into the stream, so welcome, and let's get started. The first thing I want to do is go through the warm-up sequence that we've been using for class, which for anybody who studies Japanese martial art, it is Taiso. Taiso, when translated, just means calisthenics. The kanji for that, if you look at it, is body movement or body manipulation, and essentially all it is are ballistic stretches. So you can do stretches that are ballistic, which are moving stretches, or static stretches, which are kind of a fixed moment in time. So Taiso, or warm-up exercises, are a series of ballistic stretches. What we're going to do is slowly go through each of the exercises in the sequence one time, and then we're going to go through them together, still slowly, just to get into the rhythm of things, and then we'll do it at full speed for a third time, and then we'll move on with our warm-up cuts and everything else. So the first move in series Taiso is going to be some shoulder rotations with the arms. So the first movements are arms up, arms out, down and back. Up, out, down and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Super simple. And what that's doing is you're rotating around the shoulder. So it's really important, especially for sword stuff, that we get the shoulders good and warmed up. So this is one of many exercises in the sequence that are going to warm up the shoulders. So we're warming up the shoulders by rotating it around to the upward position, the out at full extension without hyperextension, down, and also moving it back to kind of get that full rotation without necessarily going around like this first. So let's do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. And we do that 2 times. The next movement is also another arm movement. So we are going to start with our arms crossed and go out, in, in. So what this is doing is getting the shoulders moving in a different direction. Like I said, there are a lot of ways that we're moving the shoulders to get them good and warmed up. And this also is moving the arms and upper back. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. So the next one is going to be another arm shoulder rotation. We're going around in kind of a double front stroke, and then going back around in kind of a double backstroke. So you're getting a full movement, and it's stretching through the shoulders, but also through the chest and the back in both directions. So if we're coming from here, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Now we're going to be stretching arms, shoulders, and side body. So we're going to your left, bending over in kind of a yogic thing. You're stretching all through here and coming back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. So the next move is going to be doing our bends. So we're bending forward, and then we're bending back. So we're kind of doing a cat-cow motion with our back. So first we're going down, and then back, and then down, and then back. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're getting a good, we'll try and turn and show you. So you're getting good bend of the spine. It doesn't have to go like super duper back, but at least getting a good stretch, and then rounding forward to get a good stretch in this direction. So we're flexing the spine in both directions, which is really important, because getting your spine warmed up for everything that's going to come. The next part moves on from there, and it's also kind of a spinal rotation and stretching the side body. So we start in the bent over position, and you're going to go to your left, and you're going to swing around, stretching really big, and down. Swing back the other way, stretching super big, and down. Around, and down. Around, and down. Like I kind of feel my spine, the vertebrae is doing little cracks here and there. It's good. Stretching all out. Stretching all out. When I come up, we're going to do those tricky arm swings. It's the easiest way that I can think to remember is I know that I'm going to start with my arms to the right. And what this is doing is also rotating the shoulders and stretching out through the arms. What we don't want to do is kind of just like throw our arms around, because that's not really stretching, you're just flailing. You want to be gentle with your body and mindful. So we're going left, right, up to the left, right, left, up to the right, left, right, then up to the left, right, left, up to the right, left, right, up to the left, right. So you're kind of thinking of it in groups of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. So if you're thinking in groups of 3, you're always going up on the third, up on the third. And again, don't flail it up. Like a mindful, strong stretching the arms in the kind of the up and back direction. So one more time, I'm going to start my arms on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Now we're going to bring our feet together. We're going to do our jumping jacks, which is going to have 4 hops, 2 jacks, 4 hops, 2 jacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pretty straightforward. That's helping to warm everything up, getting the blood flowing, getting our heart rate a little bit up, warming up the body so that we're ready to do everything that comes next. Now we're going to do our Sumo Squat. I'm going to put my feet with my heels about a fist apart, and I'm going to squat down. I'm keeping the thighs out open wide, keeping the back straight. You turn to the side so you can see. Keeping the back as straight as I can. So in order to stay balanced here, you might need to kind of play with where your pelvis is in order to get it straight up and down. You might need to drive a little bit forward because sometimes we end up in a little bit of this. So if I take my pelvis and drive it forward, it'll make it straight. So we're here in our squat. Then we're going to stand up into like a half fold, flat back position, like a tabletop. Then we sink down into our sumo squat and back up into a fold. Awesome. Now we're going to do our deeper lunges. These can be kind of tough, so don't worry about getting so down to the floor because it can get a little bit dicey to move around. Actually, no, instead of doing the low lunges, never mind, we're going to stretch out in triangle pose. Get the order correct, yeah. We're all learning. So you're going to take your left foot, turn it to the side, turn your body, touch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Turning back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm keeping my leg that's turned as straight as possible. If you can't touch the floor, that's okay. Just go as far as you can because you're stretching back through this calf and hamstring. Now we're going to do our lunges. I'm going to give myself a little bit of room so I can lunge. So I'm going to take a step to my right. I'm making sure that my left foot stays on the ground. My right knee is not going past my toe, and I'm keeping my back straight for this one. Put your hands behind your head for that, or just be here. And then I'm going to gently switch, transition to the other side. So same thing, right foot now, keeping contact with the floor. Left knee is not going past my left toe. We're going to go back the other direction, but for this variation, I got a good crack out of there. I put my toes, I'm flexing up towards the sky. Now I'm getting a little bit lower. I'm not exactly hunched over, but I'm not trying to keep that straight up and down because I'm trying to get a different stretch through the leg. And now I'm going to transition to the other side, flexing my toes up towards the sky. And good. Now, I like to heel toe, heel toe, heel toe to the next one because the next one is knees. My knees are sometimes a little bit shaky, so this is a good one for me. Feet near each other, not necessarily zipped up tight, but close together. Hands on your knees, and we're going to go around clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back the other way. 5, 6, 7, 8. Back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back the other way. 5, 6, 7, 8. And what that's doing is to help warm up those knees to get them moving around, especially since we might end up doing some lunging or at least stepping where we're going to need to have our knees ready for what's coming. Next is going to be stretching out through the back of the leg. So I'm turned to my right. I have my right foot forward, knee bent, left leg behind, nice and straight. Feeling that stretch through the whole back of the leg because I'm giving it just a little bit of oomph in this direction without tracking out too far. I'm not really lunging. I'm just providing some opposition for the muscles in this leg. At the same time, we're going to double up. We're going to stretch our wrist. So I'm going to stretching my left leg. So I'm going to stretch my left wrist. I'm going to start up here. I'm turning my wrist so as to get a stretch, and I'm pulling it down because it's changing the stretch as I move. I start up here, and I'm pulling it down because it's changing the stretch. Now I'm going to transition to bending my wrist in this direction. I'm pulling and pushing the arm out at the same time. You don't want to pull too hard, just gentle pulling until you feel that stretch in the wrist and the forearm. I'm going to pivot and do the other side. So now my left leg is slightly bent, right leg nice and straight. I'm feeling that stretch. I'm driving my hips to stay as square as possible so that I feel the most stretch possible. Now I'm going to stretch my right wrist. twisting and pulling down, pulling out. And these are all on the 4 count as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. So that's our warm-up exercises. Let's go through it all together, slowly, super slowly. Then we're going to do it at normal speed, which isn't necessarily fast because you still want to be able to get the most out of it. But at the same time, we're going to, going to need to keep going. So here we go. We're going to start at the beginning. Try to follow along as best you can, and hopefully you won't even need me. You just do it. Ready? Und. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm crossing this transition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bending over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bending back. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to rotate around. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel the stretch. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Transition to our jumping jacks. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Transitioning to our Sumo Squat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turning the toe out to the left. Pyramid pose, stretching the leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to do the lunge. Straight back version first. Step, keep straight back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Toe up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Heel toe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to turn and we're going to stretch back through the leg, stretching the wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switching sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, excellent. I think what I'm going to do, instead of going through that sequence one more time, because I know I'm already like heart rate out of breath, I need water. What I'm going to do is everybody's going to take a water break, And I'm actually going to be filming this sequence in total later, and then I'm going to post the video for everyone. It'll be in the Discord, it'll be on the langusmesser.com blog, and it'll be hopefully on the Squinting Rabbit YouTube channel. So I'm going to skip the third round of this for now because we have some more working out to do. So everybody take a quick water break, and then when we come back, we're going to do our warm-up cuts, and then we're going to do a workout, and then we're going to do some cool downs because can't have effective cool downs unless we get real warmed up. So let's take a little water break first. So once everybody has done their water break, going to get your sword-shaped object. Hope that you don't rub on the ceiling like I've done a couple of times now. I have good scratches on the ceiling now. And we're going to do our warm-up cut sequence. But before we do that, let's salute in because now we're going to begin the swords part. We're going to put sword on our left shoulder. And salute. Sword on the right shoulder. All right, let's do our warm-up cuts. So we're going to start in the high Vomtag. Oh, already got the ceiling, goodness gracious. And we're going to cut Scheitelhau to the head. Und eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht, neun, 10. Okay, cut to the long point. Und eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht, neun, 10. Cut to Alber. Und eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht, neun, 10. Going to cut right Oberhau. I'm going to shift so I don't hit things in my bedroom. Und eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht, neun, 10. Switch your feet. Left Oberhau. Und eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, acht, neun, 10. Left Oberhau, right Unterhau. Eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, sechs, sieben, 9, 10. Put your feet. Right Oberhaal, left Unterhaal. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To the Mittelhut. Going to do Mittelhaal. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch sides. Rest in peace, bathrobe. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now we're going to go to the right ox, and we're going to cut with a step if you have space. I don't have space today, so I'm going to start with my right foot forward, and I'm going to stay in place and cut. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From right Nebenhut, cut Oberhaal with a step if you have space. If not, start with the right foot forward. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're going to start in the left ox. Cut with a step if you have space. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Start in the left Nebenhut, cutting Oberhaal with a step if you have space. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Beginning in right Flug, going to thrust to left ox with a step. I think I'm going to try and take the step this time. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. in the right flug, going to thrust to right ox with a step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching to the left flug, we're going to wind and thrust in the right ox with a step. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 und 10. Beginning in the left flug, we're going to thrust to left ox with step. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 und 10. Starting in the long point, we're going to just thrust forward with a step, and it's going to be the 70% in, or 30% in, 70% out. I math. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to do a few of the Meisterhau. I can't Zwerchhau in here, so I think we're going to stick with just a Krumpau and Schildhau in here, just for space concerns. So let's start with the Krumpau, and we're going to take an offline step to our right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now for the Schildhau. Und 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 und 10. Awesome. So we're going to take a quick pause. We're going to get some water, and then I'm going to ask if you have a weighted trainer to grab it for this next section. So let's take a little water break first. We're going to do a bit of a workout together. I have a bit of a strength training and cardio for sword people. So we're going to incorporate use of the weighted trainers. If you have one, I'm using an engineer's hammer. This is my weighted trainer because I can use it at home without scratching the ceiling, the same way that I end up scratching the ceiling with my Boken for which happens even with somebody this short, still scratch the ceiling. So for the next sequence, I'm going to be using this. You can use whatever you have on hand. But before we get started with this, we're going to keep heart rates up. I feel a little bit warm, but I think I could be warmer. So we're going to do a little bit of a boxer shuffle. Getting nice and warm. So we're going to do a series of sword squats, sword lunges, and we're also going to throw in some jumping jacks and some planks for good measure, just so we can get everything nice and warm. So I'm essentially just moving in this little shuffle, keeping the heart rate up. You can also just kind of march in place, jog in place. If you don't want to do the shuffle, it does about the same amount of work, kind of getting the heart rate up a little bit and getting the body warm. We've done a good series of stretches for our Tyso. We've done our sword warm-up. So now I'm going to shuffle on over. I'm going to get my weighted trainer. And the first exercise I'm going to show you is a sword squat. So my feet are about hip width apart. I'm actually going to move this a little bit closer so I don't hit my closet. Feet are about hip width apart. I'm going to start in what would be a high vom tug. And I'm going to cut forward at the same time that I am squatting, like this. I'm going to show you from the side. So as I come down in the squat, I'm trying to keep my back straight as possible. I'm trying to make sure that my knees don't track out over my toes. And when I come back up, I'm not just standing up. I'm actually using the pelvis to push forward and pull the trainer back up. So let's do 10 of these, and then we'll do a wide leg version. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Make sure that you're driving that pelvis forward to pick yourself back up, just like a normal squat where you would be coming down and driving forward, doing the same thing but with a trainer. Now we're going to do a wider version, so feet more than hip width apart. Toes can track out a little bit to the sides. I don't know if you can see what my feet are doing. Slightly turned out. We're going to do the same motion. So it's a cutting down while squatting, pulling back up. Cutting down while squatting, pulling back up. Let's do 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. All right. Put the trainers down for a second. We're going to do some planking. So get down on the ground. You can do a forearm plank here. And we're going to keep your back as flat as possible. Drive your heels down to the back. And we're going to stay here and count backwards from 15. I can't do it in German, so I'm going to do it in English. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. All right, back up. We're going to do 15 jumping jacks. I can't count to 15 in German, so we're going to do it in English. Sorry, Peter. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I did 20 instead of 15. Ah, I gotcha. Grab your weighted trainer. We're going to do another circuit of this. So we're just going to stick to these 4 basic things: regular sword squats, wide sword squats, the plank, and the jumping jacks. We'll do those circuit another 2 times, and then we'll cool down together. All right, so feet hip width apart, trainer or sword-like object in hand. Ready? We're going to do 10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wide-legged now. Make sure to keep your back straight. When you cut down, don't use your arms, use your abs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Back down to our plank position. This time I'm going to do it from a full plank. You can do it from the forearms or full plank. Make sure you're keeping your hands underneath your shoulders, back straight, heels drive to the back of the mat. Backwards from 15, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Back up. Jumping jacks now. We'll really do 15 this time. I promise I won't blow past and do 20. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Awesome. One more circuit. One more circuit. You can do it, I promise. I know I'm sweating terribly. I am out of breath, but that means we're going to have a really effective cool down after we're done. All right, so feet hip width apart. We're going to squat with our sword-like object or weighted trainer while we squat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to go even lower this round. Last round. 6. Nice and low. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Wider. We're going to do the last 10 wide squats of your night. Ready. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Weighted trainer down. Not going to need that. Going to do the last 15 seconds of planking. Everybody get in either your forearm plank or your full plank. Back straight, heels drive towards the back, and 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. All right, last 15 jumping jacks. Here we go. You can do it. I'm dying. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Choo-choo! Awesome, awesome job, everybody. Now we're going to start our cool down. Don't stop moving just yet. We need to cool down the body gradually. So what we're going to do is taking the heart rate down. I'm kind of doing this hugging, loving myself action while I march in place. What that's doing is I'm gradually taking down my heart rate from where it is right now, which is elevated. And I'm also starting another kind of ballistic stretch. So taking down the heart rate, calming the breathing, loving yourself. So what I'm doing is this action. I'm doing left arm over, right arm over, left arm over, right arm over. And I'm extending behind me, but not like hyperextending, just extending enough to feel the stretch. There we go. Taking a slow march, slowing it down. Hoo-wee. All right. Now we're going to keep going with our ballistic stretching because we're still bringing the heart rate down. We're letting everything cool down in a gradual, controlled way, a mindful way. So now I'm going to put my left foot in front, right foot back, and I'm going to start backstroking my right arm. I'm getting a full extension through the arm, rotating the shoulder in this backstroke action. I also feel it a little bit in my upper chest and in the upper back. Just swimming backward. Still actively calming my own breathing. Now I'm going to go forward and front stroke. Front stroke. Still a full extension of the arm. Cooling down the body. Switch feet. We're going to backstroke the left arm. Going back. Going back. Going, nice good extension, kind of getting all of the, this chest area, the rotator cuff in the back, forward. Okay. If you still feel like your heart rate is way up, you can keep just doing this for a little while. Or you can do a little march in place, march in like a little side kick. You can kind of gently march and use your hands as kind of a target and just gradually take your heart rate down the rest of the way. For everybody else, we're going to start doing some more static stretches, which are going to be targeting the muscle groups that we've been using. So going to focus primarily on the neck and the shoulders and the back, but we'll also stretch the legs as well. So the first thing, we're going to take our right hand, put it behind our back, see it. I'm going to grab it with my left hand and I'm going to pull. It should look like this. So now I've created this floppy piece here. I'm going to tilt my head, boop, as if I'm trying to tilt the top of my head towards my left elbow. And that's all stretching in here. You should feel it all through the right part of your neck. So to change the stretch, I'm going to take my chin and I'm going to gently try to point it at the ceiling in my apartment. So my head is still tilted to my left. Just now I've taken my chin from this down position and turned it up. And you should feel that stretch change. Now I'm going to take it from its up position and I'm going to point it down like I'm pointing my chin at the floor. Changes the stretch again. I'm going to look straight ahead at you. And I'll release. I'm going to do this on the other side and get the left side of the neck as well. Left hand behind the back, right hand grabs, pull. I also kind of get this in my like upper arm and forearm too. Try not to pull too hard. If it feels not right, you can loosen it a bit. But listen to your body. That's the important thing to know here, is to listen to your body. So I'm going to take my head, I'm going to tilt it towards my chicken wing arm. I'm going to take my chin, point it at the ceiling while I'm still tilted towards my chicken wing. I'm going to tilt my chin towards the floor. You can really feel how that changes the nature of the stretch through the neck. It's important after we've done all sorts of sword work and with the planking and especially the work with the weighted trainer, that we take care of our shoulders and our necks, because a lot of us hold a lot of tension up there, and it's important to recognize that and to take care of that. And release. Now we're going to take care of the arms. We're going to do kind of the a variation on the gym class bicep stretch. So I'm going to take my left arm, pull it across my body. I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to start at my shoulder, and I'm going to pull it along my arm until I get to my wrist, and I'm just kind of gently guiding it backwards with my right hand. If you keep the thumb tucked, then you're practicing good grappling moves, because you don't want to get your thumb around or else you're going to break your thumb. Back up at the shoulder and just gently pull towards the hand, gently pulling back. One more time. Pull at the shoulder, reach at the shoulder, and pull across. And release. We're going to do it to the other side. Take the right arm, pull it across the body. Take the left hand, and we're going to just kind of caress down your arm, keeping the thumb tucked up, and gently pull on the back of this hand. I got this stretch from the Yoga with Adriene channel, so shamelessly stolen. And pull down. And pull down. Good. And release. Going to stretch out our triceps. So putting my left arm up in the air, bending it behind my back. Should look kind of like this. I'm going to take my right arm and pull until I feel it stretching all through. It should be stretching all through the back of the arm, tricep, and you can even feel it going down the side body as well, depending on how flexible you are and how much tension is in those muscles at the top. And release. Now we're going to do the same for the right side. Hand up, behind the back, grab the elbow, and gently pull. Oh, yeah. And breathe. And release. Okay, we're going to be stretching the forearms and wrists. I'm going to take and grab my my left hand with my right hand, kind of plugging my fingers down into the floor, and I'm going to gently pull. And release. Go the other way. I'm showing you the back of my hand now. Fingers still plugged into the floor, and gently pull. and release. I'm going to do the other side, plugging my fingers into the floor like this. I'm showing you my palm. I'm grabbing, and I'm going to gently pull. And release. Turn the hand around, showing you the back of my hand now. Gently pull. And release. If you need more for your wrists and forearms, I have more stretches that I'm going to put in a doc, and I'm going to drop it in our Discord server right after this class. But for now, we're going to move on to some other stretches. We're going to feet nice and wide, not like super wide, but you know, gently wide. And I'm going to put my arms up in the air, and I'm going to pull down until I have this kind of cactus arm, and release all the way up, cactus arm, and release, and up, pull it down, stretching out the chest and the back, release. One more time, nice and stretched. I'm pulling down. I'm feeling this in my chest and shoulders and upper back, and release. Awesome. I'm going to put our arms out in this kind of star shape, and I'm going to bend forward, bend forward, bend forward, bend forward, bend forward until I release down to the floor. I'm going to cross my arms one over another, put my head on my forearms, and I'm just going to rock gently side to side. So this is another ballistic stretch. I am stretching out my back side to side and side body, but I'm also mostly stretching out the backs of my legs. And as I lean towards each leg, I can feel that stretch going down the back of the leg. Back, forth, stretching my right leg, my left leg, right leg, left leg, and release. Hands to the floor, or you can come up to a flat back position, and we're going to heel toe to a forward fold. So my feet are nice and touching, legs are zipped up, and I'm either going to fold and touch the floor. If you have that, you can kind of fold and touch the floor. If you don't have that, a flat back position or hands on the thigh works, or as far down as you can go, because we are stretching out, again, the back and side body, but also this really generous stretch at the back of the leg. If you suffer from tight hamstrings, this is a good way to get them. Nice and down. And now we're going to really slowly roll up. It should feel like you're stacking every single bone in your back. So I'm going to start gently ragdoll. Everything of my upper body is really, really loose. And I'm stacking. Oh, there's the hips. And then stacking the vertebrae. Shoulders are coming up. And then the head. Nice. We're going to stretch the quad. So, right foot on the floor, left foot pops up. You're going to grab it. You're going to pull, driving the hips forward so that you really feel the stretch just all through the front of your leg. And switch, release your foot to the floor. Pick up your right foot, grab it. You're going to drive the hips forward, feel the stretch. And release. Also included in that document are going to be some more stretches for the hamstrings. But now I think we're going to focus on the calf muscles and making sure that we don't get shin splints, because nobody likes those. So if you do need more, I'm going to be dropping that document in Discord after the class is done. So balancing on my right foot, I'm going to move back so you can see what my other foot is doing. So I have my, my left foot up, and I'm going to point. So you're kind of seeing the backs of my toes. Flex, you can see the bottom of my foot. I'm going to do that 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to rotate the ankle around. You should really feel all of this just moving through your calf and your shin and your ankle. And if you really get the toes involved, like really just kind of like spread the toes and grab like you're trying to pick up a pencil off the floor with your toes, then you really feel a stretch all through your feet as well. Go the other way, rotating around, and release. We're going to do the other foot. Left foot on the floor, right foot up, and I'm going to point, flex, point, and flex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Same thing, we're going to rotate the wrist around and really trying to feel it all through that lower leg, ankle, and foot, grabbing with the toes. And reverse directions. And release. You can kind of shake it out, feel like you need to shake it out a little bit because you're just balancing. All of these cool downs, all of these stretches, there are so many different ways you can stretch the same muscle groups. Again, it's not so much about knowing the routine, like a dance routine. It's about knowing what muscles you're targeting. So I might need more for my legs today than I would on another day, or maybe I need more for my arms, or maybe I need to do some head circles because my neck is super tense. Maybe I need to be doing more for my arms because my arms are sore. It's about listening to your body and knowing what you need after a workout or after class. Because in the end, it's our responsibility to stretch after class. So I challenge you, next time we have class and Peter signs off or whoever is teaching class signs off and says, okay, everybody, make sure that you stretch. I challenge you to do some of these stretches. I'm going to be posting a document in the Discord and on the Lange Spencer blog that has some ideas, and you can definitely add to that list. There are so many different stretches that you can do to cool down. It's really important to make sure you stretch after you work out because it helps prevent injury, and we want to be able to do this for as long as possible. And that means trying to avoid injury as much as possible and listening to your body and working within your means. So make sure stretching after class. And for learning our opening warm-up sequence, I'm going to be challenging you again for the next couple of days. I think for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm going to be jumping on Discord in the morning. I'm going to aim for 7:45 because that's right before I do my usual morning workout. So I'm going to be doing Taiso in Discord, and I'm going to be doing the warm-up cuts. So Taiso and warm-up cuts Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, just in the Discord, and I hope that you can join me for that, and we can keep each other accountable. I know that if at least one person shows up, then I know I'm going to have to do it, and just kind of learning that sequence, because the more familiar you are with that sequence, the less time you're going to spend trying to keep up with what's happening on the screen, and the more you can focus on what your body is doing and what the muscles are being worked by each of the movements. So I'm going to take a little sip of water, and I'm going to if you have any questions, you just pop them in the chat. I'm going to move closer so that I can see, and I'll give you a couple of seconds to, if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the chat right now. Make sure you always have water for class, too. Lime-A-Ritas don't count. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Leanne. I'm glad that you feel great now. I hope that this was helpful for everyone for warming up and cooling down. And I am going to post videos of the warm-ups and these cool-downs, plus some additional cool-down exercises and stretches that I have. And I'm going to film myself doing those probably tonight and then try to just put them up. Yeah. Dina says that the backstroke one is always nice for the sword shoulder. Yeah, I agree. as many warm-ups and cool downs for the shoulder as well. Someone's asking lower back stretches. Okay, so the lower back, What I end up trying to do for the lower back here, I'll show you one thing that you can do is I like to use either child's pose or an extended child's pose. Child's pose, you would just kind of sit back on your heels and you can either stretch forward and you get all of that lower back, upper back. You can also put the hands behind you, head touching the floor, rounding your shoulders forward, and that gets it. Another really good lower back stretch is if you're sitting as though you're going to go into a regular child's pose, and you're going to do an extended one. So I put my knees as wide as the yoga mat and get my hands in front and just try to reach out as far as I can until I can either get my head on the floor or be out like this. And that really gets the lower back going really, really well. You can also work on that like in a cat-cow. You can get the whole spine. So cat, or this is the cow-cow, and cat, like Halloween cat, cow, and cat. And that really flexes the whole spine. Those are some really good ones to get in there for lower back. And over time, as you kind of work on this, you're going to want to be really gentle with yourself at first when you're doing these stretches because the back is so touchy. So I would start really small. Just start working in a child's pose and just rounding forward with your shoulders or stretching out. And also doing that roll-up, that gradual roll-up that we did, keeping the lower back in mind. Back bend probably wouldn't be as good if you are experiencing any kind of lower back pain. I would not recommend bending too far back, but doing kind of a gentle cat and then cow, or by doing a child's pose, that should help to stretch out pretty much every part of the back, but definitely like keeping focused on the lower back and being mindful. Leanne's asking, my shoulders are super clicky. I don't know what to do about that. So for clicky shoulders, that one's really tough because my shoulders also get kind of clicky. What I've found is that in order to get past the clicky shoulder, I try to be as loose as I can when I'm doing things, if that makes sense, and also trying to keep the shoulder blades down while I'm doing things. So if I find that when I'm backstroking that I'm getting a little bit of clicking, I try to think with these like back shoulder blade, the bottoms of the shoulder blades, thinking it down as much as possible and relaxed. Because if you're really tense in the shoulders and the neck, it's going to get some clicking. And like a little bit of clicking might happen with certain motions. Like I get pretty clicky with backstroking in particular, front stroking not as much. And that's kind of up to like physiology, but I would say make sure that you do a lot of maybe like shoulder movement prep before class, and then make sure to like treat that with care after class and treating that and doing a lot of what we were doing, just a lot of gentle movement. I'm focusing on keeping the shoulders down and back and maybe pulling too hard. Yeah, if you're like actively pulling down and back, that can also cause like tension. So like just keeping it as gentle and zen as possible. What I'll do is I'll look into like what other things. Yeah, the backstroke. Yeah, the backstroke. I get clicky on the backstroke too. So when I tend to feel clicky on the backstroke, I just try to do it as gentle as I can and without like really stretching and hyperextending. Especially when I get to kind of like back. Here, when I get to like back here is where like I start to hear the click. So if I just try to go a little bit slower maybe, and I'm also not pulling like my hand as far back. When I get to that point, just kind of like trying not to hyperextend out of the socket. But I'm going to look into more of these things and maybe put together even more comprehensive document, because our shoulders and necks and backs are all kind of on the hook for doing HEMA. So thank you, everyone. I'm sorry for going a little bit over time, but if you have any more questions for me or just want to chat, I'll be in the Sword Class NYC Discord, and I'll be dropping that document in for everyone to see. And I hope that everybody has a really good night. Thank you so much for joining me for class. Peter will be doing class on Friday, at 7, and then Katie Mead is doing class next Tuesday at 7. I'm really excited, and there's a really fine group of people who are going to be taking turns teaching class, and I'm so excited to see what those people are going to be coming up with, and I'm super excited to be back teaching more things. I'm hoping to do more yoga things, more fitness things, because that's just an area that I've been able to pull into my sensing that I found really helpful. I hope you find it helpful. So thanks again for coming, everybody. Bye.